So what happens to a family after it falls apart? Well, for actors Rebecca Gayheart and Eric Dane, a really devastating health crisis didn't just test their bond, it completely redefined it. This is a story about how an ex-wife became a primary caregiver and how love can totally transform in the face of something unthinkable. Let's dive in.
This right here, this quote from Rebecca Gayheart is honestly the key to understanding this entire story. It just perfectly captures a relationship that's moved way past separation and into this deep, unwavering kind of support. This is the emotional bedrock for everything we're about to talk about.
Okay, so what exactly is the setup here? Well, Rebecca Gayheart and Eric Dane split up back in 2017, but when this crisis hit, she became the main person coordinating his care. It's a situation that really makes you stop and rethink what divorce and family even have to look like. So what was this crisis that kicked off such an incredible shift in their relationship? It all started with a diagnosis, one that would change absolutely everything for their entire family. Eric Dane was diagnosed with ALS.
The news dropped this past April. Eric Dane, who you probably know from shows like Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria, revealed that he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, a condition a lot of us know better as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Now, to really get the weight of this story, you have to understand what this disease actually is. ALS is just relentless. It attacks the nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, the ones that control muscle movement. Basically, the brain's ability to communicate with the body just slowly fades away.
And the progression of the disease is just devastating. It systematically takes away the ability to do all the things we take for granted: speaking, eating, walking, and eventually even breathing on your own. And here's the hardest part. While there is medication that can slow it down, there is no cure. This was the harsh new reality their family had to face.
So, facing the diagnosis, that was the first battle. But pretty soon they found themselves facing a second one, against a totally different kind of opponent, the healthcare system itself. And this is where Rebecca Gayheart's role really shifted from ex-wife to this tireless advocate.
Their goal was clear, but getting there, that was going to be incredibly hard. They needed to get approval for 24/7 at-home nursing care to manage the disease. And this fight, it became Rebecca's personal mission.
And this was the actual response they got from an insurance representative. It's just a shocking, cold example of the bureaucratic wall they were slammed up against. Can you imagine fighting for a loved one's life and hearing those words? It's just a brutal thing to face.
But Rebecca's response was just pure determination. She simply was not going to take no for an answer. As she put it, she saw that wall and decided she was just going to go right through it. In her words, she was locked in.
And all that persistence? Well, it paid off. It took 2 separate, exhausting, and probably demoralizing appeals, but in the end, they won. They finally got the critical 24/7 care that Eric so desperately needed. Winning that battle for care was a massive victory. But beyond all the logistics, this whole experience was fundamentally changing their family. The crisis didn't just challenge them. It actually forged an entirely new kind of bond between them.
I mean, this just shows the evolution of their relationship so clearly. They went from being a separated couple to this unique kind of family unit. They live just 12 minutes apart now. They share meals, have these frequent drop-by visits. It's become a real support system, built on that foundation of shared history and that deep familial love she talked about.
And of course, at the absolute center of all this are their 2 daughters, Billie and Georgia. Rebecca hopes that through all this difficulty, what her kids are seeing is a really powerful lesson in maturity, in partnership, and in focusing on what truly matters in life.
And according to Rebecca, their daughters are handling it all with this remarkable maturity. You know, while a lot of kids in that situation might hold out hope for their parents to reunite, hers seem to understand the reality. They see this softer side of their parents' relationship for what it is, a deep, caring bond, not a romantic reconciliation.
So, what does this new family dynamic actually look like day to day? Let's get into the final piece of this story, the practical and emotional reality of caregiving, because it's an incredibly complex and demanding operation.
That 24/7 care is a huge undertaking. It's divided into 21 shifts every single week. Now, professional nurses cover most of them, but it's not a perfect system. If a nurse can't make a shift for some reason, Rebecca covers it herself. And if she can't, she has to call on Eric's friends for backup. It really does take a village.
And this brings us to a really painful but very real part of a crisis. While some friends have been absolutely incredible, showing up without even being asked, others have just faded away.
Rebecca has been really open about the fact that the heavy nature of the situation has caused some people to simply disappear.
I mean, this quote is just heartbreaking. It speaks to that secondary loss that so often comes with a long-term illness, the loss of your social circle. It's such a powerful reminder of the deep isolation that both caregivers and patients can feel.
And that leaves us with this powerful question. This story might be about two famous actors, but the theme here is completely universal. It forces all of us to kind of look at our own lives and our own relationships. When everything falls apart, who is in your corner? Who shows up?